It's always like that. It's Maddie's dad, it's Brenda's husband, Morgan's dad. But I'm used to it, that's okay. Thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate your time and your support. Thank you to the board. I mentioned this to Bob McDonnell last week. There's, a lot of work that goes into one of these things, trying to figure out where we're going to be, who the speakers are, and a lot of other things. But they work and they don't get really paid, so that's a good thing. I also want to thank the sponsors, and I'm going to list and highlight the ones that were up on here. Dixon Hughes Goodman, they actually do our taxes too. Marathon Consulting, Progressive Graphics, the City of Virginia Beach, Kaufman and Knowles, Mahoney, Nashatka, did I do that better this time? Richmond, McCleskey, Lee and Mary Sharon, Watermans, and Helen and Michael Standing. Thank you guys for your generous support. And finally, I do want to thank Cape Henry Collegiate for hosting the forum tonight. The school is wonderful, and we thought this would be a great location to highlight the topic for tonight's presentation. This is the last event of the 2016-2017 season. We will announce the beginning of next season before tonight's over, so don't just jump up and run. We will also announce the next president of the forum. I am so thankful to do that tonight. I've been the president for 3 years, and while I'm happy to do it, it's time to pass the torch. I also want to put out a plea, if you will. We ask everyone here to consider the forum, really your own. There's a Norfolk Forum, we have a Virginia Beach Forum. We want to keep a Virginia Beach Forum. So think if you want to join the board, you want to be a member, you want to be a sponsor, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But also keep attention to VA Beach, vabeachforum.com or .org. For our upcoming events, because we will update that as soon as tonight's over. We'll try to get you some more information on next season, which will start next October, November. The next president knows that. So, anyway, to our speaker. When she was appointed to the University of Virginia Board of Visitors by Governor Tim Kaine in 2008, our next speaker was no stranger to Mr. Jefferson's University and was no novice in the field of higher education. Helen Dragas received her undergraduate degree in economics and foreign affairs and a master's degree in business from UVA. She was appointed by the Governor Kaine to the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia in 2006. In 2011, the Board of Visitors elected her to the post of rector. She was reappointed by then Governor McDonnell, who noted that hers is a voice that must be heard, and she is the first woman to rise to the position of rector at the University of Virginia. They didn't have to go around. Since her tenure on the board ended in July 2016, there have been many changes, which are arguably the result of many of her efforts. UVA restored financial aid it had previously cut to its lowest income students. It promised to redirect hundreds of millions of dollars towards scholarships from the $2.3 billion of discretionary surpluses she controversially, oh, forget that one, called slush fund. Last month, the board approved the lowest tuition increase for the in-state students in many years, just 2.2%, which is the lowest since 2001. And it has promised to increase the number of in-state students it serves. In addition to the impressive record of giving to eradicate family homelessness through local charities, Not too many years ago, Dragas companies learned that the drywall in 70 of their homes was making people sick, and before anything started with lawsuits and those kind of things, they voluntarily spent $5 million to replace the drywall. You don't see that much these days. If you know the leader of a company through the company's action, this is truly a sign of remarkable leadership, I think. She has received numerous accolades from the business community and from civic organizations and charities for her efforts. In 2009, the Dragas Companies was deemed America's Best Builder. She has been named First Citizen of Virginia Beach and was recognized by Junior Achievements Business Hall of Fame. I guess I can keep going, but we are pleased to have her address the important subject of higher education tonight. Welcome, Helen Dragas.
Public higher education in Virginia has never lacked for social or political drama. But if someone had told me 10 years ago that I'd be standing here tonight talking about my experiences during one of its most tumultuous times, I'd have said he or she was crazy. That these times could be described as some of the most uncertain in its long arc of its history, that would have been unfathomable to me. But they have been, and here I am. I want to thank Ramsey for that kind introduction and express my appreciation to the entire forum for hosting me tonight. It really is an honor to be with you. Now, being in business and serving on public boards naturally brings with it some routine publicity. But it really has never been my desire to be anything more than a quiet and supportive force for good. In fact, what attracted a torrent of attention my way in recent years was born out of a belief, perhaps a naive one, that I could be just that. And so, despite my dedication to advancing the prospects of the children in our state, it is still with a good deal of reluctance, and some of my friends on the forum can attest to that I'm here tonight to share with you some lessons from my journey, through what I call the looking glass of higher education. Understanding how I view it and what it can add to our collective well-being probably requires sharing some personal background with you. Perhaps it's relevant that 3 of my 4 grandparents were Greek immigrants, and that my parents were among the first to seek a higher education, that each earned a degree from a public college in Virginia. Both of my grandfathers came to this country with virtually nothing. Yet their children attended Virginia public colleges because the price of a degree was within their financial reach. Virginia schools served as launching pads for my aunts and uncles to improve their status as teenage milkmen, hotel clerks, and bellmen to become teachers, attorneys, businessmen and women, and a well-respected Virginia Beach judge. My dad's route was quite a winding one. His mother, my yaya, Elaine, as we say in Greek, had been reluctant to leave her home country as a 19-year-old bride. So it wasn't surprising that after a decade in America, she longed for her home country. She wanted to introduce her 4 young children to the family she had left behind. And so in 1938, Elaine and her children boarded an ocean liner for her homeland, planning only a short stay, while her husband remained in Norfolk to nurture his young milk delivery business. But that was not to be. For what should have been a joyful family reunion turned into a harrowing 7-year trip, and their journey left an indelible mark that extends far beyond that first generation. When World War II broke out and they couldn't travel back to America, it was my grandmother's steel will and resourcefulness that allowed them to escape starvation and conscription during the German occupation of Athens, and later, when the Greek Civil War broke out, in the vacuum of power that left in the wake of the German army retreat. During those years, she would scour the hills outside the city for greens that she could boil to feed her family. She denied the unwanted advances of powerful men who could offer her and her children relief, even as they witnessed the dead bodies of the star lying on the streets. My dad developed his entrepreneurial street smart selling cigarettes, going through neighborhoods, hawking his wares. At Christmas, he sung carols, hoping for gifts of food. He was only 9 or 10 years old. When she was finally able to secure passage to bring her war-torn family home in 1945, my grandmother eagerly anticipated reconnecting with her husband. They had not been able to exchange a word for 7 long years. But unbeknownst to her, my grandfather had died several years earlier as a result of a car accident. And so it was that the survival skills my grandmother had honed in Greece were again brought to bear, this time in Norfolk. The lady got her feet on the ground. She found work as a seamstress, sewing long hours in a small factory on Redgate Avenue. But even as her children worked odd jobs, delivering newspapers, mail, and milk, my yaya knew that a higher education would be their ticket up and out. And she never, ever let them falter. My father attended ODU when it was only a 2-year division of William and Mary, and went on to graduate from Virginia Tech. From a barefoot cigarette seller on the streets of Athens to a college graduate with a business degree, he was ready to realize the American dream. And that he did. Nearly 50 years have passed since George Dragas started a business providing mortgage loans and building neighborhoods. Since then, the Dragas companies have constructed almost 8,000 homes, employed thousands of people from electricians to engineers, and done its best to return the company's good fortune to the broader community. So you can see how my family became steeped